OzIris is a Bolliger Mabillard inverted roller coaster located at Parc Astérix just outside of Paris. It stands 131.2 feet or 40 meters tall, has 3,280 feet or 1,000 meters of track, reaches a top speed of 56 miles per hour or 90 kilometers per hour, and has 5 inversions. And this roller coaster is awesome, with some incredible theming and a powerful ride experience that is on par with Montu at Busch Gardens, Tampa. This roller coaster is definitely a top tier ride at Parc Astérix and one of the best roller coasters in France. This is our full-length, in-depth review of OzIris and our comments about what you can expect when you go to Parc Astérix to ride this Bolliger Mabillard invert. Now, let's get into the review. OzIris opened in 2012 as part of Parc Astérix Egyptian section, which was inspired by the Asterix and Cleopatra comic book series. The new Egypt section would have desert plants, palm trees, rocks, a lake, Egyptian monuments, and a large temple, and OzIris would anchor this new section. OzIris is located in the back right-hand corner of the park. While it is located towards the back of the park, OzIris is actually one of the first roller coasters you will see when you first arrive at Parc Astérix. Because of its location in the park, you can actually see OzIris' lift hill and first drop from the highway and Parc Astérix main entrance road. This location entices people to come to the park and gets you excited for your day at the park. To get to the ride from the park's front entrance, you head towards the Festival Toutatis section, and instead of turning right towards Festival Toutatis, you take a left towards the Egypt section of the park. You will pass the park's mock rides bobsled La Trace du Aura and walk underneath a section of the Manier Express log flume into the Egypt section. As you enter the Egypt section, you will see amazing Egyptian theming, including a large temple, an Eiffel Tower obelisk with a giant throne in front of it, and OzIris' blue track and sand-colored supports. This entrance plaza is incredible, complete with Egyptian-inspired music, and it is also visually stunning. As you make your way through the queue, you walk alongside, underneath, and around OzIris' track and past some incredible theming. When you enter the station, you will see more amazing theming. The ride's station is an Egyptian temple with 2 large statues inspired by the Egyptian god Horus and images from the ride's storyline on the walls. Essentially, the Asterix character Iris hypnotizes riders so they can experience his ultimate experience, making people fly. In addition to images of the ride's storyline on the station walls, you will see one of OzIris' 3 8-car, 32-passenger trains. These are Bolliger Mabillard's older invert trains, which have the traditional over-the-shoulder restraints. You can find these trains on several other Bolliger Mabillard inverts throughout the world, except for Banshee at Kings Island. Once you have boarded your train, secured your over-the-shoulder restraint, and cleared dispatch, you hear Iris' hypnotizing catchphrase that you are now a bird, and you proceed towards the lift hill to start your ride. At the top of the lift hill, you immediately start plummeting down OzIris' 114-foot or 35-meter first drop. This first drop is like the one you can find on Banshee at Kings Island in that it does not have a pre-drop section before entering it. Because this first drop is a straight drop, you get some good ejector airtime as you go down it if you are in the back row. At the bottom of the first drop, you then start banking towards the right as you climb up into a dive loop, which gives a good pop of floater airtime at its apex. And this dive loop also has some good positive G-forces entering it, much like the one on Banshee, though a little smaller. As you come out of the dive loop, you go into a rightward bank turn and up into a particle loop. Like most Bolliger Mabillard inverts, this loop has some strong positive G-forces, especially at the top of it. As you come out of the vertical loop, you dive into a tunnel and fly over a short section of straight track before flying up into an immelman. Much like the dive loop, this immelman gives a subtle pop of airtime, which is more noticeable for those sitting towards the front of the train. After the immelman, you fly up into a rightward banked turn, followed immediately by a dive into a nicely themed tunnel with some water. If you are in the front row, you will get a good pop of floater airtime. As you fly out of the tunnel, you enter a 0G roll, which has some whip to it, though not nearly as much as the 0G rolls on older Bolliger Mabillard inverts like Montu or Great Bear at Hershey Park. This 0G roll feels more like the ones on Banshee or Talon. As you come out of the zero-G roll, you climb up a 270-degree rightward banked helix, which pulls some good G-forces, followed by a fairly steep dive down into a trench. This dive gives a good pop of floater airtime across the train, though it is at its strongest while towards the back of the train. You then fly up into another zero-G roll, which is whippier than the first zero-G roll, and this zero-G roll has a nice foot chopper interaction with the ride's Egyptian temple-themed station building. As you come out of this zero-G roll, you go through a low-to-the-ground leftward bank turn, which pulls some good forces up into one final airtime moment, followed by a rightward bank turn up into the final brick run, thus completing your ride. OzIris is a great Bolliger and Mabillard invert. It has incredible theming, strong forces, and amazing pacing. While it is not the largest invert out there, OzIris is definitely the most surprising. Its power and pacing reminded us a lot of Kumba, while the first drop, noticeable airtime and pacing felt like a combination of Talon, Banshee, and Montu. And each of the inversions had good forces, and the turns felt different from any other invert. In fact, some of the odd banking, particularly after the first drop before the dive loop, enhances the ride experience. And OzIris's ride experience is awesome. It's not every day that you have a Bolliger and Mabillard invert that has floater airtime throughout the ride. You will experience most of OzIris's airtime while towards the back of the train, and unlike the one or two subtle airtime pops you can find on Talon or Montu, OzIris's airtime is quite noticeable. You even get some airtime going into and coming out of some of the inversions. All in all, OzIris's ride experience is spectacular. It is incredibly smooth and actually quite intense, hence the Kumba reference. It is easily one of the best roller coasters in Europe. Aside from the ride experience, OzIris's theming is amazing. The Egyptian themed plaza looks stunning, especially with those palm trees and that lake with the tunnel. This plaza definitely shows off OzIris, which gets you pumped for the ride. It's such a fun ride to watch. And OzIris's ride operations are quite good. If you have done any Bolliger and Mabillard roller coaster, you know that these rides are super reliable and capacity machines. OzIris's ride operations kick that capacity into overdrive. Parc Astérix has incredible operations, and nowhere is that truer than on OzIris. The ride operators keep the line moving constantly, making it easy to lap this great invert. Overall, OzIris is an incredible Bolliger and Mabillard invert with some amazing elements. This roller coaster is arguably one of the best Bolliger and Mabillard inverts out there. It is definitely one of Parc Astérix's standout attractions and is a must ride. For our final score, we give OzIris a 9 out of 10. This coaster is easily one of the best rides in the park and in all of Europe, and Parc Astérix would not be the same without it. So, let us know in the comments below if you have ridden OzIris at Parc Astérix, and if so, what you think about it. And if you enjoyed this video or are new to the channel, please like and subscribe for more coaster content like this. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more coaster reviews and amusement park content coming soon to Coaster Adventures, and we hope to see you in the next one.